It's got chips in it, yeah, but they're not that good. So if you got good chips in there and you got an active EQ, when I say chip, I mean ICU, integrated circuit board chip. If you got good ones in there, this can be helpful. It can be quite helpful. You know, the filter will be even. It won't be real drastic and nasty, gnarly sounding. But this one right here doesn't have very good chips in it, so if you do any drastic adding to the sound, like if you boost, turn it to the right to where it says plus 15, it's going to be a harsh and really edgy sound. It's not going to be very smooth. It's not going to be pleasing to the ear. However, cutting is not quite. It does still give you some harshness, but taking out is usually not as big a deal as adding when you're talking about a active EQ. With a passive EQ, you don't have a chip in there. All you've got is these little resistors and transformers and capacitors. And if they're good, you know, again, it's how good they are, how much they cost. If they're good ones, well, you're going to get a nice smooth sound, but if they're not good ones, you're not. But most of these new, I would say from the late 1980s on up, most of these small consoles like these are all ICU based. Below that you have an effects send, which I actually use to input directly into my I/O, my computer interface I/O. Because these channels don't have direct outputs. That's something different we don't even need to go into, but that's an effects send, and it's going to correlate with the effects send, this right here, this cable coming out. So if I turn this up here like it is now, the signal is going to be routed to here, which is going out into the A to D converters, the input, so I can put it in the computer. It still gets routed over to the main section, but it also gets double routed. This is called dual busing. Below that you have oh, and by the way, when you turn that up, it just does whatever you plug into here. It doesn't send everything, just whatever's in this particular channel. Below that you got a pan knob left and right, which is just balance left and right. And then you've got, you know, this is on most larger consoles, this is actually a fader, a little slider knob that goes up and down. But this is just another form of gain staging here. This is where you need to be careful with this one too. So having this knob and this knob in the proper positions is the first thing you take care of. That's another lesson. But okay, after you get, and this entire strip, all the stuff I just talked about, this is how you get signal properly into this console. Now getting it out is over here. Well, besides getting it out to the effects loop, is over here in the main section. The main section has, it's got, here's the effects. If you so desire to have the time-based effects, which I would say don't, because it's really not that good. But I would say do your time-based effects somewhere else. But if you don't have any other choice and you use this one, use it. You've got your peak meters here. This is telling you what kind of signal you got. And you got, this is your main output right here. Your main stereo. And then you've got, monitors. And your stereo return, which I'm going to go over that a little bit. And then up here, you've got where everything's plugged in. Let me zoom in a little bit closer on that. So, we'll start with this input. This input here channel, this is a main input channel. It's a stereo left-right in. And I use it to bring the signal from my Mac computer into this device, into this mixer. Now, being as my Macintosh is set up with a professional workstation, it has these big, these big 1/4 inch, outputs, nice balanced cables, and I plug it into this. There's the left and there's the right. One in the back is the left. One in the front is the right. Next to that, we've got a line input channel, and it just has doesn't have a mic input. It just has RCA cables hooked into it, and that is where my PC is hooked into. All I did is I took the plug on the back of my PC. Let's see if you can see that or not. Yeah, there's the plug right there. It's just a 1/8 inch stereo jack, and you can see you got those plugs on your computer. All I did was I went to I think I bought this plug at Radio Shack. I may have made it. I've made lots of cables, made more like I care to remember. But you can either make them, or you can go to like a Radio Shack or any kind of audio supply store. They probably even have them at Best Buy, or maybe even Walmart. It's just a splitter cable. On one end, it's got a female of the 1/8 inch jack that's just like your sound card, and the other end has got these two cables here, which is RCA cables, left to right, like you plug in your stereo. And you just you get a cable that has two males on it, two male 1/8 inch audio jacks in it, which you can get the same store there. I know they got those at Best Buy because I bought them there before. You plug one into this cable here with the RCAs, and you plug the other end into the sound card output where you would normally plug your speakers in, and you plug the RCA inputs into this channel here, and voila, your PC is running into this board. You can do that with, even Macs have that type of plug too. You don't have to use this type of professional input that I'm using. That's just because my Mac is set up that way. It's just a super expensive way to have a sound card. It's actually an external sound card. But anyway, voila, you got both of them going into the mixer. Now, as far as going to the speakers goes, the easiest way to do it for me was, and that's because I already had some of these adapters. I got one right here. I already had some of these adapters. There's the adapter I used right there. This adapter has a, my voice is probably really loud right now. This adapter has a female for 1/8 inch. So I just plug that into this, and then this directly into the headphone output of the mixer. And voila, my speakers are